joining me in the studio now is Sue Fahy, artist and lecturer in fine art at the University of Wolverhampton. Sue, thank you for joining me. So we're here to talk about Reclaim the Streets. What is it and where did the idea come from?
The idea came in last year because Sweden, ahead of us with Scandi thrillers and other things, have done this in Stockholm for 2 years from 2011. And they actually found the idea of taking photography to streets as live prints really made a difference, because people are really interested in photography. It's on your phone, they're looking at Instagram galleries, but actually to see live prints from photographers. And the photographers are there in Stockholm to talk about their work. And that's the plan here for the first time in the UK, to run it across a series of centres. Unfortunately, our weather makes the streets rather difficult. So we're using 9 centres, starting with Grand Central in Birmingham and promenading by train, obviously, to Wolverhampton, and then the Lighthouse Media Centre, Wolverhampton Art Gallery, the Manda Centre, and our library, the Harrison Learning Resource Centre, are going to host the images.
And it starts this weekend?
It starts today. The exhibition opens at Wolverhampton Art Gallery and our Long Gallery in the Wolverhampton Art School. But we also have a street show, so people have submitted for both. And the street show is going to open for one day, like a pop-up event, on Saturday the 16th.
And so what sort of images will people be able to see at these at the event?
Well, there's no theme and no genre. It's an open call, and it's very democratic, like the Swedish model. The only thing, obviously, we do is curate it, because some of the venues we're using are open public streets, but they do have family audiences. So we're trying to curate the show so it doesn't in any way upset the target audience of the venues.
And you talk about that democracy, because there's images from professionals, but also students as well, isn't there? It's a completely open platform. I've submitted work, lots of very well-known photographers have, and artists. It's not just photographers. And people who are internationally famous have submitted works, because it is about this idea of taking photography to the streets. There'll be a live auction at the end. People can collect photography. A lot of people are falling in love with the medium. They want to collect it. It's very reasonable. It's going to be auctioned at a live auction by Will Farmer from the local Fielding's Auctioneers, who does the Antiques Roadshow, so a celebrity auctioneer. And how important is that to make art accessible to people? I think art is accessible, and photography is ubiquitously all around us, but actually to own photography and collect art is something that maybe people think is an elitist opportunity. What they've shown in Sweden is people have come and made quite small bids and gone away with an original piece of artwork, and they've enjoyed it and come back the following year to collect art. And we've mentioned that students have their work in it. How much of a step up will this be for them to have their work, up against professionals? Well, I think the thing is that photography is ubiquitous, and some people are selected to be more successful. The idea of the Swedish model is to be totally democratic and to say, let's just make photographs, let's enjoy imagery, and let's, discuss it. It may be that the average visitor wouldn't know who's well known and who isn't, because in the street show there are labels, but people aren't writing celebrity photographer. So it's very open. And in Sweden, I think what people have found is that they've got their photography out to a huge audience, which maybe they don't do anymore, because they're selected for gallery shows, which are quite specific. And as well, you mentioned you've got one of your own pieces in there, haven't you? Can you tell me about that? Well, I did some work last year called Fugitive Testimonies, which is about found images about families. And so I've put one of my pieces in, which is a rather odd photograph that is anonymous, that I've rephotographed, a bit like Sherry Levine. I've appropriated it and rephotographed it to give it new life. And a lot of the photographs, there's a story behind every photograph in the show, but there's 600 entries. So we're going to be challenged to tell the story of every one. But hopefully the stories will get out there. After the exhibition, what's going to happen to all the photographs? Well, there's going to be a live auction, and obviously Fielding's Auctioneers and Will Farmer from the Antiques Roadshow, who works there, has agreed very kindly to auction. But this year we're doing something different. In Sweden it's been always a live auction, but what we've decided to do, because of the international flavour, and we've had over 300 entries from around the world, is actually to have an online auction as well, because we felt it was wrong that people couldn't bid. There's also going to be, from the street show, if you like, a sort of blind draw, the draws in your lot. And that's a bit like the Royal College of Art do a secret auction where you might get famous people's work, and it'll be £10 for 10 prints. I mean, how much do you think they're going to go for, the different ones?
Well, we don't know. A few of them have got reserves on because the photographers have agents and they want that reserve on it. In the majority, people have just given their work because it's for Ladies Fighting Breast Cancer, the charity. It's about art and health. It's about open democratic giving. But obviously, some people, their work's worth a lot of money, and if anybody makes a bid, we're not going to have reserves. It's a charity auction.
Yeah.
If there's an online bid already placed, then the physical auction will have to honour that bid and go above that. But that's fair.
And the whole thing is a whole West Midlands affair, isn't it?
Absolutely West Midlands affair. It's Reclaim the Streets, Reclaim West Midlands, and all of the venues are ones that really do try to open up to an audience and bring cultural capital into Wolverhampton. And that's what we want to do as the University Gallery, Wolverhampton Art Gallery, the Lighthouse Media Centre, the Manda Centre, not typical, a shopping centre, wants art to play quite a big part there. And they're encouraging our students to do commissions, and they're encouraging our photography show. So we can only thank all of the participating venues. And also in Birmingham, the photography lab Palm has actually printed all of the prints for the show from international submissions, which obviously have come in not by post. Other people have posted their work. So we've got some lovely packages as well that people will get the work in when they buy it at the auction.
And bringing it onto the streets is going to be a new experience for some people, isn't it?
It could be. I mean, it's going to be stewarded because obviously a lot of people have asked questions about what do people try to steal the prints, what do people try to vandalise them. I'm a bit more of an optimist. I think if it's curated well and stewarded well, people just enjoy it and ask people the stewards particularly, who are students and photographers, about the work. And it should be lively, and that's the idea of it. And the whole idea is we're putting up as people are walking around in these spaces, and we're taking down at the other end. So places like the Black Country Living Museum will have one exhibition, the Manda Centre will have another one, and if people want to tour all the venues they can, but if people want to just enjoy it where they are, that's fine.
And you might not want to say, but do you have a favourite?
I don't. I do think there are some wonderful pieces from Japan, and obviously we don't often see Japanese photographers work in exhibitions in Wolverhampton, so those are lovely. And there are 4 very special prints at Wolverhampton Art Gallery, donated by 4 very well-known photographers who've just very discreetly put their name on the signage. They haven't said, I'm famous.
So lots of different things to look forward to. And as a photographer and artist yourself, do you have any tips for any budding photographers about how to take, the best picture? I
mean, I think the thing to have is a passion and to have a subject, because anyone can take a photograph now, and we know that because the cameras are programs and they can make the photograph brilliant. You just have to point the camera and make the choice. And I think a lot of photographers are now working on really interesting projects. They're bringing interesting things into our sort of memories and into our kind of ideas and our structures. And some people do photograph, like you had, the artist with tiny things. Some people photograph through electron microscopes because they actually want to make things that you can't see with the human eye visible. So I think it's having a good idea and intriguing people, making people curious.
Yeah, and just finally, really quickly, is it on for 2 weeks, and how can people go? Is it free? Do they just come along?
Yes, all of it's free. Wolverhampton Art Gallery, it's in the viewing area on the ground floor. There's a screen that shows all the images and 4 prints. And in the Long Gallery in Wolverhampton Art School, there's 29, 30 prints.
I'll have to stop you there, but thank you very much and best of luck with that. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.